Hi everyone, my name is Gabriele Bruno. I am the BIM manager and a senior landscape architect at Hodge Urbanism and Landscape Limited in Dublin. And today I'm going to talk about my personal journey to try to combine the Revit and BIM worlds to landscape architecture. In the first slide, I would like to give you just a brief introduction about Ireland planting species. So basically everything started back 12,000 years ago when the ice age ended and the snow and the ice started melting down. At that point, trees started to raise from the soil, and the seeds of this tree came to this land basically by the wind, or they were brought by the birds because they were quite light at that time, and eventually even by the population who arrived from this land. On the right side of this slide, I just wanted to put a picture of one of our historical tree. It's a Platanus hispanica. It's pretty common to find this type of tree in Ireland. However, I just wanted to show you the strength, the power of the trees that we have in this country. The nickname is the hungry tree. You can guess why. I would recommend to visit if it's your first time in Dublin. It's just in the north part of the city, so you can definitely go there and have a look yourself. So in Ireland, we have a huge biodiversity. Even though it's a small land, we have so many trees. We have around 30 native species and many more semi-native species that we are trying to use in every single project. It's possible to find birch trees, strawberry trees, apple, ulmus glabra, hazelnut, alder, black alder or silver birch, and many, many more. In this slide, I want to focus your attention on just few little categories of tree and shrubs that we normally use. So there's the category of the future trees, the small trees, large shrub, and so on. However, as you can see, in just this small selection, there is an enormous variety of features, characteristics. These trees are different in color, shape. The leaves are completely different one to another. Some of them have fruits, some other are just flowers. Some of them are multi-stem, some other have just one stem. So you can appreciate the biodiversity that we have in this country, and to represent in the best way possible in our project, we tend to use a planting strategy. Now, in this strategy, we include these sort of symbols that define better the features and characteristics of each of our green elements. So as I said, native, semi-native, but can be pollinator friendly, woodland, shrubs, and so on. However, in our Revit model or in any project, there are some essential data that we normally include, which are the species, the sizes, the flowering and bloom period, obviously the category, it is native or semi-native, the age, the root ball, and the actual condition of the tree if it's a tree survey analysis. Again, this is just like an example coming back to the category that I showed you before. So these are tree features trees, but again, with the symbols that we normally use. However, you can appreciate the difference in aspect, in sizes, in colors of these three trees. This is another example. These are medium, small size. Again, colors totally different, shape, size. And this is an interesting one. It's like an ornamental shrub planting strategies, where, as I said before, we indicate the flower or the bloom period. However, in this case, we tend to indicate even the color that the flowers might have in that specific time of the year. The reason is why in a country like Ireland, we have like this peculiar alternation of rain and sun during just one day. And one of the main effects or results that this alternation gives to the plants is rich, bright colors. So for us, it's extremely important to know which type of color the shrub or the flower are going to have in that specific time of the year. So acknowledging all of that information, acknowledging all this biodiversity, all these characteristics, as you know, in this historical moment, this is what we have in Revit. So we have related trees, obviously. In graphic terms, we have a basic plan view, basic 3D representation, and a 2D, 3D realistic representation, which realistically is just like a photo that rotates when you move the camera. Again, in terms of data, the categories are quite limited, and some of them are not even useful for trees like in Ireland as the tropical category. Like we cannot really use that. However, this sort of data have been improved during the years, but again, it is not enough. Together with the property data, for instance, in this case, it is written just like the common name, which is American beach. So I thought how I could give like justice to our landscape project. How can I be more specific? So I came up with the idea of creating like a specific type of family for each tree or shrub or green element that we were using. Starting from the graphic properties, we have a specific outline, a specific representation, and a 3D realistic representation of that specific green element. Again, it's not just graphic, but it's even data, which include obviously the common name, the Latin scientific name, the nursery where you can purchase this tree, the size, and the cost per unit, which can give you the first cost analysis on top of the project. Now, another important element that every tree or green element has in my library is the root ball. I use to have root ball in every tree because it gives like the first detection on any interference with any other model that I'm going to link my model in. For instance, now I'm going to show you some application where this type of methodology has been extremely useful. This is a project that we have been asked to design. It's an Irish school where our design involved like a new social area with specific bespoke art landscape elements. In this case, is a sitting planter, and bespoke planters with edible and sensory garden for kids to learn with plants. So as you can imagine, like the planting and the biodiversity here is extremely important. So we needed to pick specific type of plants. So we needed to represent not just graphically, but even in terms of data, each plant that we were using in our Revit model. And with this type of methodology, we could do that. This actually is an extract directly from Revit without any other software. And again, as I showed before, this is like a planting strategy that we have chosen just for this specific project. So we are sure that these plants are going to be no harm for the kids. Now, in some cases, like we needed to be more technical. So I thought, why we don't include in the trees even the elements that are that surround the root ball. In this case, like I inserted the aeration system, which is like the dipole around, and the anchor system, which actually gives the strength to the tree to be in the ground. Again, I'm going to show you a few examples from our project. This is like a new parking area where we have been asked to include more soft landscape into the hard landscape, which is already there. And the use of this methodology has been extremely useful because thanks to these type of trees, we were able to understand if, as you can see, it's like a difficult situation because the road is sloping down. So we needed to know if the gradient was correct for that type of tree that we were using in that specific area. So these type of trees were extremely useful, and we could actually check any interference right after we inserted them. Another interesting project that I'm really happy to share is actually more clear, like to show you like the power of this type of methodology is this. We have been involved on a really large project which involved the an entire greening system of the city of Dublin. Basically, we are bringing back soft landscape to existing hard landscape that is in town that has been built and designed ages ago. For instance, this is a portion of this project. It's a really tight existing tree in the city center. We have been asked to, again, to like propose some soft landscape. And the use of this tree was extremely fundamental because we were able to know exactly with which portion of soil we could deal. Because as you can see on the west side, we have services. So with this type of tree, we could know like if the type of soil could have that specific tree and if there were any interference with the services from the engineers, just by inserting that. A nice touch that I would like you to focus your attention is that timber seating element that is on the side of the planters, which gave a nice touch. And also, in terms of biodiversity and Revit, in this case, also the planting selection was extremely important because this planter works as a SADS element. So SADS stands for Sustainable Drainage System. Essentially, the rain is collected through this planter and it gets filtered through the soil. So each plant needs to be resistant enough to absorb the correct amount of water and filter it through the soil. Moving on, this is another interesting and difficult situation that we had to deal with is like a courtyard for a new hotel in town, which is over a podium. Now, as you know, podium doesn't really work with trees. So by using this tree, you can see it's the same graphic, and this is actually the Revit interface. We were able to understand if there were any interference just by inserting them. And once we knew that this tree could handle the correct amount of soil underneath, we were able to raise the planter up and create some seating elements inside. And also with this type of methodology, we are able to switch directly in Revit by this to a realistic representation, which give you like a complete view and complete and realistic view of what is going to happen. Now I'm going to show in the same interface, obviously, as you can see, is the Revit interface. Moving on, I'm going to show you some zoom up just to show you better what I meant. As you can see, we have like these seating planters, and exactly in that spot, we have the podium underneath for the parking basement. And as well, in this case, you can appreciate the west side of this courtyard. And again, this is like a general view where you can appreciate the different hierarchy between vertical and horizontal elements given by the planters, the shrubs, the trees, different sizes of the trees. So again, the choice of biodiversity is extremely important here. Moving on, I decided that this methodology would be extremely useful even for tree survey, so existing tree that we normally have to deal with when we have to start a project. So again, from left to right, we have the existing tree photo. Then we have a specific representation with the root outline, which is the green little line around the tree, and the root protection area, the RPA, which is like the dashed purple line, which is basically the area that you have to keep clear and not doing anything if you want the trees to survive. Again, it's not just graphic, it's even data. So in the Revit data properties, there is the common name, the Latin scientific name, the class of the tree, which means that the tree is in good condition to be kept or is in bad condition, can put people in danger, so is recommended to be removed. And even the number of the tree that can be easily exported in an Excel sheet directly in Revit. So this number will match what you can export as a landscape report for the arborist to look at. This is just an extract from a plan. You can see that it's exactly the same tree with the indication of the different classes. So let's say high quality up to bad condition needs to be removed. At the end, yeah, you can see the existing tree condition in a photo on the left, and the actual Revit model built up with this methodology, which is exactly the same. Now, another powerful function that I experimented using this methodology was the use of the drone applied to Revit. As you can see, this site is really complex. We have residential units on the east, a really busy road on the west, and a canal with a stream and a little path in the middle on the south. So this makes really difficult for us even to do like a initial site analysis. So I thought, why we don't use the drone for this? Because it can be extremely useful. So I made a few videos, collect some picture directly with the drone, and I was able to export a 3D mesh, which is exactly the one on the bottom left corner, which show not just the elevation point, but even everything that is underneath the tree. So all the understory planting and elements that are under the trees, they are there. And so collecting all this data, exporting as a 3D mesh, and importing obviously in Revit, I was able to produce this project directly in Revit, just using the initial data collected by the drone. And this is actually, as you can see, a project of just an easy ecological reconnection of a residential unit to like a park. Again, this is another drone view of the same project. You can actually spot me in the center of the site. This is the before, and that's the after. Moving on, I'm going to show you some other example which this methodology has been used, but I'm going to go fast because I have just 15 minutes. So this is like a project of urban reconnection of a residential unit areas to existing park. So this is the before and this is after, directly in Revit with few different options. Again, this is before and this is after, few different options, before and after, and again before and after, all done in Revit, all exported directly from Revit. In conclusion, Revit is a really powerful tool. However, related to trees or landscape architecture, has just quite limited information graphically and in terms of data, which you can see on the left. On the right, you can see the elements improved with my methodology, which are actually bespoke for each project and for the needs that we have. The main benefits obviously are a bespoke BIM system, unique family net elements for each specific project, really powerful identification and improvement of the biodiversity directly in Revit, unique structured data. Obviously, it's open for implementation because you can apply any edits that you want related to your needs. It's compatible with any other 2D and 3D other software, and for the first time, you can have a really detailed landscape information. Again, thank you for your attention. Unfortunately, I had just 15 minutes, and I could show just like one element of my methodology. However, if you want to know more, please feel free to contact me directly.